I'm social media creator and someone who has been boots on the ground on many very high profile cases seems to now have a case of his own. This isn't the first case that he's had, but I would say it's probably one of the more severe ones. According to authorities in the state of Washington, they have observed sufficient evidence including visible injuries to a victim, establishing probable cause to arrest YouTuber Jonathan Lee Riches, also.
So we have an episode today that's going to be based on what's going on with JLR Investigates for you guys that watch his channel. And what we're going to do is we're just going to give you the insight of what's going on. I have people emailing me all kind of things. Can I talk about exactly what's going on? So this is Fugitive TV. Stay tuned. Welcome to Fugitive TV, and I'm your host, Ray Marcel, where we talk about cases of other individuals who are missing, or cases that need to be solved, or cases that need a different perspective or a different point of view. Because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I was on the run from the law for 15 years. I lived in different countries under different names. I actually grew up as a good individual, and then one decision when I turned 21 sent me down the wrong path. But today, what we're going to talk about is the situation that's going on with JLR Investigates. Okay, he's really big on YouTube. He is also a true crime reporter. He does a lot of live things like that. Now, I don't watch him too much. I really watch, I mean, just to let you know who I watch Brian Enton all day long, all day. He's the GOAT in my eyes. Who doesn't watch Brian Enton? I will watch Nancy Grace as well. I know some people don't like Nancy Grace, but that's fine. I actually learned a lot from her. I learned how to be myself and not be scared of having a filter when I watch her. From Brian Enton, I learned how to be personable. I learned how to, it feels like I guess I'm talking to you and not preaching at you. I watch a lot of individuals, but a lot of them are kind of big. So I know who JLR is, but I never really watch his content. I really don't watch his lives too much. We watched a little bit of it during the Nancy Guthrie trial. He was live out there 24/7, you know, during Nancy Guthrie. Matter of fact, if you guys remember the pizza incident, I talked about this before. Somebody sent him a pizza. I don't know if somebody sent him the pizza or he ordered a pizza, but somebody's pizza man ended up trying to deliver a pizza at the doorstep right in the middle of a crime scene. Okay. Well, I got some emails and I got all kind of things of people asking me about what's going on. Okay. So I decided to look into it myself. I decided to pull up papers. I decided to do everything I can to see exactly what is going on and what can I do to report on this. Okay. Now, all of this is allegations right now. All of this because he hasn't been convicted. He hasn't even been arrested or anything like that yet. All right. So everything that I'm about to tell you is actually an allegation. Now, what's going on right now? It's a domestic dispute against another content creator called Magnolia. Now, I'm not familiar with her, okay? To be honest with you, I'm really not because like I told you, I don't watch JLR like that. So I didn't even know about him, I think, until maybe just last summer. And that's when I first found out about JLR. Um, well, Magnolia and Magnolia is a content creator too. She has her own channel, so you guys can go follow her channel. She has her own channel. Well, her and JLR, I guess, ended up getting into a relationship together. I don't know the full details of that or anything, but I do know they got into a relationship together by seeing people commenting, seeing all kind of things. You're going on X, Twitter. I do know I did see people commenting on Magnolia asking where she's been. Her last post, especially on Twitter, looks like it was Christmas Day, which is going to play a key role. But a lot of people was been asking where has she been, things like that. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to read you some of these documents, okay, that are circulating online. Not only that, the New York Post even made a comment on this, all right? So let's get to what the New York Post is saying right now. All right, so this is from the New York Post, and they title it, which I kind of find funny. There's one case true crime YouTuber JLR Investigates isn't covering. Ex's allegations he beat and strangled her. Okay, so like I said, these are the allegations that the X is saying JLR has done. So it says, true crime YouTube star Jonathan, and it gives you his full name, is accused of brutally beating and strangling and threatening to, and it gives you KILL, a former girlfriend, she claims in court documents. In sworn petition filed in Arkansas, Jamie Phillips claims Riches, 49, carried out a violent attack on Christmas Eve, 2025, so which was last year, okay? What she describes as a years-long pattern of abuse that included him repeatedly strangling her. The filing obtained by the Post alleges Jonathan, a convicted felon who spent 10 years in federal prison over a credit card fraud scheme. Now I did see that he spent, he did time in prison. I saw that. I saw the paperwork on that. I even saw exactly some things that was going on with, mentally with him, all kind of things I saw. But the thing is, I'm not a person that will judge you on your past because, hey, I just told you guys I was a fugitive for 15 years. So there is, some people can, change. Some people even go to prison over everybody makes some sort of mistake, right? Everybody does. Almost everybody has committed some sort of a crime. It's just whether you got caught or not. That's really what it is. But everybody, or not everybody, but some people will, make that bad choice in life or bad decision in life, like I did, end up in that place knowing you were not raised that way, knowing you weren't raised that way, because I wasn't. And you hit rock bottom or something happens to you like it did with me, to where it wakes you up and you have to get back to the way you were, get back on the right path. Okay. So, I don't know if this was him or not. So I'm just saying right now, I never really will judge somebody off their past unless the past is a repetitive, they keep repeating the same thing. So for example, these cases I cover where somebody might unalive somebody in their past, if they've done it before, or they show violence before. Now that's a different story. You get where I'm going? So I'm gonna get finished reading this. A convicted felon who spent 10 years in federal prison over a credit card fraud scheme was in relationship with Phillips. It says since the start of 2023, or the beginning of it, that spiraled into a persistent and pattern of domestic abuse, control, intimidation, and financial exploitation and physical violence. Okay, so it's a picture of Jonathan, and then there's a picture of Jamie, all right, who goes by Magnolia. According to handwritten affidavit, the alleged December 24th assault left Phillips with extreme injuries, including broken nose, septum, trauma to the head and ribs, requiring emergency medical care, CT scans, and x-rays, and that she will need reconstructive surgery. Phillips claims that Jonathan assaulted her on multiple occasions, beat her with a closed fist in a separate alleged August 2025 attack, strangled her roughly over a dozen times. She threatened to even unalive herself. Now, sorry, I'm saying unalive because YouTube, they don't like certain words. So sorry, I got to put a filter on it, okay? She also alleges ongoing harassment after the Christmas incident, which took place in Washington state, all right? Includes threats, intimidation, and financial abuse. I'm wondering what the financial abuse is. What exactly is the financial abuse? That part I'm wondering. On January 21st, 2026, the court issued an order of protection. So they did issue her order of protection, finding there was sufficient evidence Phillips faced an immediate and present danger of domestic abuse. Now, in some courts, some counties, every county is different. Some counties, you have to show evidence, all right, to get a restraining order or protective order against somebody, all right? Some people don't like this because if you in fear for your life from somebody else, but you don't, let's say, have the evidence, maybe they told you verbally, but you didn't record them saying it verbally, and then you go to the judge and the judge is like, sorry, you don't have enough evidence. Some people don't like that because now it's like, if this person does what they say they're going to do, there's no protection against them. Then you have some counties, there are some counties out there where you can actually go and file for this without evidence. So this one actually looks like you need evidence to file this protection order. That's what it says. The court issued an order on protection finding there was sufficient evidence. Um, like I said, I'm going to break all this down to you, okay? So Jonathan has not responded to the allegations. He and his lawyer did not return the post request for comment, which they probably are not going to comment because this is an ongoing case. I know a lot of people probably want him to comment, but this is an ongoing case, so he's probably not going to, okay? Shelling County Sheriff's Office in Washington sent the Post an incident report which says that they had probable cause to arrest Riches, but he had left the state. He has not only formally charged in a retaliation. So sorry about that. He has not formally been charged in relation to the incident, and no warrant appears to have been issued for his arrest. So, right here, what it's saying, it says they believe they have probable cause to arrest him. All right. But the charges are pretty much still pending. That's pretty much what the breakdown is. So even though she got the order against him, the charges are still pending. So that's why there has not been an issue or a warrant for his arrest. I'm trying to break this down for you the best way I can. Now remember, this is supposed to be allegedly of what she is claiming that he has done. All right. Phillips herself has a colorful past, having been accused in 2017 of fabricating a story about being impregnated by Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore as a teenager, which she tried to get the Washington Post to run. So I did see comments saying that she tried to lie on another man before. So the Washington Post tells you right here that she did have that. So we're going to look at that too, because we got to make this fair, because anytime I do a crime or anytime I report a crime, okay? And I've told you guys this for you guys that follow me. Not only do we look at the suspect, but we also look at the victim. We have to look at the victim's past, because we have to see exactly maybe why they went missing or what happened to her, because this plays a big role. If the victim has a bunch of drug charges and was in and out of jail for prostitution, okay, most likely a lot of times that victim ended up missing because she was in the street doing something. Now, I'm not saying she deserves that, but we have to look at the victim. We have to look at them. That's a piece of the puzzle of probably what happened. Probably in the street, a drug dealer probably got a hold of her. Maybe she owed money. Who knows? But you have to look at that. So I have to look at hers too. So Washington Post right here is doing the correct thing by this. So Phillips herself has a colorful past, having been accused in 2017 of fabricating a story about being impregnated by Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore as a teenager, which she tried to get the Washington Post to run. Phillips told the Post, "I was duped for so long. He betrayed himself as he had changed and turned his life around, but that's not real. He's the same way he's always been. He's a fraud." Now, I'm guessing she's talking about JLR. The only thing he cares about is money. He doesn't care about the cases. He loves when there's a mass shooting. He gets excited because he knows they couldn't even spell. They spell, he gets excited because COS. Who wrote this? He knows he'll get a lot of views and a lot of money. Richards invented himself as JLR Investigates, a YouTube channel which has grown to more than 500,000 subscribers. Around 3 years ago, after a lifetime of frauds, fakeries, and manipulation, he describes himself as a fearless investigator and inserts himself into a high-profile investigation to live stream. Most recently, he has been broadcasting from Tucson, Arizona, outside the house of missing Nancy Guthrie, which I told you guys about earlier because I watched some of them. He's basically a big celebrity in the true crime community. Fellow true crime streamer Alina Smith told the Post. And that's pictures of him in front of Nancy's house. All right. Now, he has gained a reputation for being one of the most persistent streamers, filming for up to 15 hours a day, responding to questions in real time. I don't even have that time of 15 hours a day. That is crazy. I wish I had the time to stream for you guys 15 hours a day. I don't have the time to do that right now, but that is my goal. My goal is for me to actually be doing this full time and traveling to places. That is my goal of this channel. So I actually give him credit for being able to stream 15 hours a day. The more subscribers he gets, the more profitable his YouTube videos become, regardless of whatever the information he reports is fact or fiction. That's why he was in Tucson for over a month. It was easy money for him because why did I keep spelling COS? Anyways, it was easy money for him because he just sits up a camera and lets it go. Other streamers have estimated to the post he makes about $30,000 a week with his persistent boots on the ground approach. But his audience are likely unaware of just how sinister Rich's past is. In 2019, openly admitted being a troll and fabricating highly sensitive information after he was called out for pretending to be Jewish and giving a fake backstory at a Trump rally. I did see some of those videos on TikTok, okay? So I saw some of those, so I know exactly what they're talking about. I don't think about the long-term consequences as a fair disinformation of offending anyone, Richards told the Huffington Post in 2019. Let me read that again. I don't think about the long-term consequences as far as disinformation or offending anyone, Richards told the Huffington Post in 2019. So we don't know if he was trolling when he said that or if that's something he really meant, but that is what he said. This is what the Huffington Post is telling us on this article. The disinformation that I want, I can put out there. The next mass shooting, before they identify the shooter, I can set up 10 Twitter accounts looking like news sites, then create whoever I want as the shooter. Okay. I wonder if he really, this is what he really said. Gullible people will see that. They think it's from a news site, then they will copy it and tweet it out. Rich's operation has drawn criticism from authorities and journalists alike as he is part of a growing ecosystem of YouTube crime scene streamers who monetize tragedy by broadcasting from active investigations. Interesting. The one thing I can tell you guys is I don't know if he's in this for money. I don't know what he's in this for. I don't know if he cares about these people. I cannot speak on this man's behalf. But I do know, even by looking at my videos, when I do my videos, you can easily scroll and look at my videos, okay? I will do cases and it'll be on maybe a missing individual. And it probably only got maybe 800, 700 views, 1,000 views, whatever, which is really not a lot, okay? And even though it didn't get a lot of views, I care about the case, so I keep reporting on it. For example, Rebecca K. Park, I think 3 videos on her, maybe 4. Rebecca K. Park, her videos at the time was some of my lowest counting videos. But I felt personally, because Rebecca K. Park came from a family who really didn't care, okay? So personally, I felt that her story needed to be heard and she needed to be found. Come to find out who found her, TikTokers found her, not the police, not her family. TikTokers found her, okay? Actually, I take that back. Her family did help find her, but it wasn't like the family she was living with. It was her real father, who was kind of estranged in a way, and some TikTokers, but they found her, all right? And that's just an example. So a lot of these videos I do, I don't really care how many views I get. Yes, we all want the views. Yes, we all want the subscribers. I would be lying to you if I said I didn't, because I just told you my goal is to be able to travel to some of these scenes. I want to be like a Savannah Guthrie, to where I'm out there in the, on the news reporting. And who doesn't? But I cannot speak on him if this is something he cares more about or not. Now, it tells you a little bit about his background as well with the federal prison, and it says he was indicted in 2003 in Southern District, Texas, along several co-defendants for a credit card fraud scheme. So this was back in 2003 is when he got in trouble. Then it gives you some details on that. A federal judge sentenced him to 225 months in prison. You guys let me know how long that is. I don't feel like doing the math on that right now, but 125 months. I always find it crazy that when you get sentenced in court, they give you months, but they don't say years. You ever realize that? Um, then it tells you how much restitution he owes, which is a lot of money. Hopefully, he was able to pay that back with all this live streaming that he's been doing. Okay. It tells you about a Sandy Hook hoax that was done too, as well. In 2012, Richards returned to Pennsylvania on supervised release, but almost immediately found himself back in legal trouble. He traveled to Newton, Connecticut, 3 days after Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre that left 20. And we all know about Sandy Hook. Okay, supposedly he got in trouble for that, or supposedly as well. But it gets into a lot of his past. So I told you earlier, we're gonna make this fair. Right now, we are looking at Jamie T. Phillips. What happened with her? Because, like I said, I didn't know anything about her until this whole thing came about. Phillips, a woman suspected of working for an organization that targets news media, falsely told the Washington Post she was impregnated as a teenager by embattled U.S. Senate candidate Roy Moore. Phillips contacted Post reporter Beth Reinhardt just hours after the newspaper published the first story, detailing allegations of SEXUAL misconduct against Moore, Alabama's Republican nominee for Senate seat. Okay. Phillips apparently first contacted newspaper using a fake name on an email account. The account, which included the phrase "Roll Tide," was listed under the name Lindsay James. After Phillips provided her real name and agreed to meet with the reporter in Virginia, she claimed she was a child abuse survivor whose family moved a lot. According to the Post, she claimed that she lived in the I can never pronounce this, Talladega area, and that's in Florida, for one summer, attending a church youth group where she allegedly met Moore in 1992. She said they started a secret sexual relationship and she became pregnant. According to the Post, Phillips told the Post that Moore drove her to Mississippi to have an abortion after convincing her to the end of the pregnancy. The Moore campaign didn't comment. Well, the Moore campaign didn't comment. All right, they never commented on this. Post reports said they have spotted Phillips at the New York offices of Project Veritas, an organization that attempts to expose alleged media bias and discreet reporting. So they're saying that they allegedly, reporters said they spotted her with an organization that attempts to expose media bias. All right. Phillips told the Post she now lives in New York. Alice Kreitz, a Post researcher who was looking into Phillips' background, found a crowdfunding page on a GoFundMe.com that used the name Jamie Phillips. I moved to New York May 29th. Post stated, according to newspaper, I've accepted a job to work in a conservative media movement to combat the lies and deception of the liberal MSM. I'll be using my skills as a researcher and fact checker to help our movement. I was laid off from my mortgage job a few months ago and came across the opportunity to change my career path. Just a couple of months earlier, Project Veritas posted on Facebook that it was hiring people to conduct the undercover stings. So she posted that she needed to, she was moving. She got laid off from her job, but then the company or the organization was hiring, I guess, at the same time. The Post reported that she claimed to work for NFM Lending in Westchester County. So that is just a quick background. This is not the full background on her, right? Because I don't know her or JLR. But like I said, we have to make this even. We can't talk about one without talking about the other, all right? So let's get into exactly what's going on right now. All right, so on this page, okay, this was posted by Nerd Addict, okay? Go follow them on Twitter or X. There's Washington deputies established probable cause to arrest Jonathan Lee Richards, aka JLR, following report domestic assault. Okay. There's a Washington police report details a domestic violence investigation that led authorities to establish probable cause for the arrest of Jonathan and gives his name. According to reports, deputies with Cheyenne County Sheriff's Office responded to a call at a residence in Leavenworth after a woman identified as Jamie T. Phillips reported being assaulted during an argument the night prior. Upon arrival, deputies observed. So They observed visible injuries, including bruising around her eye. All right. Not only that, but I did come across a picture. All right. I came across a picture of her, which I will show you. Marks on her nose consistent with a possible fracture, and additional injuries to her head and ribs. Police told investigators the incident began after she confronted Jonathan about content on his phone. She alleged that he became enraged and struck her multiple times with a closed fist. She further reported that during the assault, he took her phone as she attempted to call 911 and made threats against her life. At one point, she stated she may have briefly lost consciousness. Deputies documented her injuries through photographs and arranged for medical evaluation at Cascade Medical Center. Medical documentation was later collected to support the investigation. The report also notes that Riches allegedly took multiple personal items, including phones, bags, and before leaving the scene, authorities initially attempted to locate him, with early indications suggesting he may have remained in the area. However, they did get information, all right, that allegedly he was traveling out of state. Based on the victim's statements, observed injuries, and collected evidence, deputies determined there was probable cause to arrest Richards on multiple charges, including second-degree assault, harassment involving threats to unalive, interfering with reporting of domestic violence. This case has been referred to the Shelland County's prosecutor's office for further review. All right, so here is the incident report. There's stuff that's blanked out, information that you're not supposed to have. So I'm gonna quickly just read through this. On December 2025, on Christmas, at approximately and it gives you 2100 hours, Deputy K was working ununiformed patrol, driving a fully marked patrol vehicle for the Shelland County Sheriff's Office, and responded to the All Seasons Inn. Okay. And when he went there for a report of an assault, the victim reporting party identified herself as Jamie. Jamie told dispatch she received an injury to her nose from a fight last night with her boyfriend. And then she lists Jonathan. Okay. Now, she also said that Jonathan took her phone and left last night. So she's saying Jonathan took her phone and left the night prior. I arrived at the location at the same time as aid. We contacted Jamie at the main entrance door. I could visibly see bruising around Jamie's right eye, consistent with being in the early stages of a black eye. I could also see a small red mark on the upper right corner of the bridge of Jamie's nose. Her nose is visibly not straight and resembled what I have observed through training and experience to be broken. Jamie requested we all speak in the room where her belongings were, which is and then it says what the room is. Jamie advised sometime between 2300 hours and 0000 hours last night, she had confronted Jonathan about things she observed on his work phone. Jamie stated it was things such as communication with other women. Interesting, okay? This part would make a little sense. It would. I'll tell you guys why. There's a lot of domestic disputes that happen after covering all these cases that happen over something that's been found on another individual's phone. A woman will go through the man's phone. She finds something she doesn't want to see. The man will get in denial. Now, I'm not saying this is what happened. But I'm giving you experience from looking at other cases and even things I've seen in my personal life, And next thing you know, a big argument takes place. And it can even be vice versa. I've seen men search the woman's phone and find something in the woman's phone. And now the woman's mad at him, like, why you search my phone? And now they're fighting. Okay. Because one gets very defensive. And now she says, Jamie stated it was things such as communication with other women that she described to be PORN. Jamie stated that she addressed this with Jonathan. He became enraged and struck her with a closed fist multiple times on the side of her head. Okay. Now, like I said, this is just allegations right here, right? So she's saying she approached him about what she found on the phone, but she's also saying that when she addressed him, he just became enraged and struck her with a closed fist. Now, I'm not laughing at that, but there might be something in between there that could be missing. Okay. I'm pretty sure there might have been some words exchanged before a fist was thrown. Now, I'm not saying I don't believe her, she didn't get hit, but a lot of times there's actual verbal argument before that happens, all right? Unless he's a violent person, which I say I don't know him, I don't know. But I mean, you guys can decide that. You guys can tell me below, you know. Jamie stated she grabbed her phone and began to dial 911 for help. But John saw her doing this, took her phone from her, and said, "I will effing ill you." I asked Jamie if she believed this threat to be true. She stated she believed he would ill her, he would unalive her. Jamie stated she believed at some point she lost consciousness after the assault. But remember Jonathan grabbing 2 bags, his personal cell phone, Jamie's cell phone, all right, and then leaving. I asked Jamie what phone she currently had. She stated it was Jonathan's work phone that he left behind. Jamie stated that she did not know where he went, but believed he may have taken the white, and then it tells you what it was that they rented, observed a white Jeep to be parked outside prior to making the contact with Jamie. I asked Jamie if she would be willing to have her injuries photographed for documentation. Jamie agreed. Due to most of the medics on scene and myself to be male and one of the areas of injury requiring Jamie to lift her shirt, I asked a female medic if she would be willing to take photos of Jamie's injuries with my department issued cell phone in the bathroom of the hotel rooms, to which she agreed and completed. These photos will be uploaded for evidence. So you guys kind of get exactly what's going on. All right. So allegedly she found something on his phone, the work phone, confronted him about it. They got into an argument, and now she's saying that allegedly this is what he did to her, and he struck her and, you know, possibly abused her. Okay. Now, the rest of this does say, which I will read this to you guys. Jamie stated Jonathan had been texting the work phone knowing he left it behind. He told Jamie he was 100 miles away from her and in the middle of nowhere. Jamie could not confirm because the rental vehicle was still parked at the hotel. Was there a rental? But due to it being the only one there, all of the other guest vehicles was accounted for. That's a little confusing. This was most likely the vehicle. Jamie believed Jonathan to be most likely still in the area. All right, so I get it. Now they looked outside. They saw the rental vehicle out there, one that looks like it. So she believed that he was still in the area. She believed that he was allegedly lying, you know, that he really wasn't 100 miles away. He's still around. Now, Jamie believed Jonathan is still most likely be in the area, and their flight leaves tomorrow, which would require them to travel back to Seattle and return to the vehicle. So, excuse me, they were both leaving tomorrow to go back to where they came from, Seattle. I was also advised by Jamie that in August of this year, she was on a work trip with Jonathan in Charlotte. This was when the first round or about his infidelity and PORN issues, PORN, she stated. So she's claiming he has infidelity and video issues, you know, PORN issues. She stated she confronted him and he attacked her in the hotel they were staying at. So once again, if you realize, excuse me, guys, she's saying she confronted him, but then he attacked her. She is not saying nothing in between. She's not saying that he said anything. You know, she's not saying there was an argument. She's basically making it seem like, hey, I found this on your phone, and he just hauls off and hit her. Now, I'm not saying that didn't happen, but a lot of the time, I'm sorry, there is some sort of argument that goes on before the striking takes place. Unless this person is very controlling to where you can't say a word to him, to where him or she will just smack you, you know? There are people like that out there. But I'm noticing that she's not mentioning any verbal argument. It's just her bringing something up and then him striking. That's one thing I'm mentioning. So after she confronted him, let's get back to where we're at. She stated it was very similar to this. He assaulted her violently and then took their rental car and drove back to Florida, where they live. Jamie stated there is a long history of Jonathan assaulting her in their almost 3-year dating relationship. She stated she knows she should have left many times before this, but hasn't. Jimmy stated Jonathan needs to be held accountable for what he did. Now, I do see, there's not many people reporting on this yet. I do see some other people reporting on this. Some people are automatically jumping aside. Some people are saying, I told you about this, or I told you about her, I told you about him. I don't do that over here, okay? What I do is I report on crime, true crime. It don't matter who it is, because I feel I have a gift where I can help somebody solve a case because why? I was on the other side of the fence, okay? And I did what I did for so long because I was successful at it before I turned myself in. So why not lend my expertise or my knowledge to, to the good in life, We all have to be good. I'm doing great in life. I own multiple companies. I have this channel. I'm talking to you guys. I've grown to 21,000 subscribers in the last 8 months, okay? I'm open. I'm fair. I tell you guys all about my life. Matter of fact, my whole life is in this book that's coming out, from me at 3 years old to everything I did up until now. Rare Redemption, which will be out soon, okay? It's going through editing right now. So I have nothing to hide whatsoever, at all. That's why my channel's called Fugitive TV, I'm here to be myself. I'm here to report on true crime, so it doesn't matter who the crime is against. It could be against my neighbor. It could be allegedly against Drake. It could be against anybody. My job, as a journalist, investigative journalist, is to report and give you what I come across or what I find or what you guys send me tips on, right? Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, this is all allegedly. We really don't know. We don't know exactly. But I brought you the paperwork, I brought you some facts, and I brought you some stuff facts of the report, okay? Facts of the report. We're going to watch this play out in court. We're going to see what happens. Far as I know, all right, it says charges are pending, okay? So we don't know if he's going to get arrested for this, a warrant gets put out for this. We don't know yet. So they're still investigating this, all right? So we don't know if she's telling the truth, the whole truth, the half truth. We don't know about him. He hasn't really spoken on it yet, which, hey, the case is still going, so he's probably not going to speak on it because you don't want to say the wrong thing. But if any of you guys, okay, Jamie or John, one of you two ever want to come on my show, do an interview, you could do it remotely, okay? I'm not going to judge. You can come around on my show and you don't even have to explain everything because, like I said, the case is still going on, all right? But you can at least explain yourself. You don't have to explain the case, but you can explain yourself if you get what I mean, all right? I figure I reach out with that olive branch. That's what we do around here. This is what I do. This is what my community's based off of, okay? You guys can decide below. What do you think? What do you think is maybe going to happen? Do you think this whole thing is blown up out of proportion? Do you think that she's telling the truthfulness, Do you think that JLR should even, say something himself? Or even her? But this is Fugitive TV. Please like, subscribe, share this channel, all right? Not only that, look out for your surroundings. Take care of one another, all right? Until next time, I'm out.